I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of these before, but this is what an Arctic Cat looks like apart. I know you're very familiar with what Skidoos look like apart, but anyways, I got the majority of the steering slop out of this, which is awesome. Turns out one of the I don't even know what to call it. Basically, the junction in here, right there, was loose. So that black rod, that steering rod that you see going down right there, that connects to that base. There's a bolt at the bottom, a nut at the bottom, and I cranked that super tight, and it took a whole bunch of slop out. We're gonna have to go to Northern Power Sports tomorrow and pick up one of these bearings here and figure out how to take this whole steering column out. But yeah, it's getting better by the minute. Already 10 times better. Well, it's time to figure this out. That's so bad. All right, I'm working on my 2013 Arctic Cat M8. This is a HCR model. So I went ahead, pulled the 4 bolts out, took the headlight assembly and hood off, and then I took the pipe off, and I obviously took this little chrome piece off that houses the it's a little cover for the ECU, and then I went and took this 2 8mm screws and sort of folded the ECU backwards. Put all the screws back in, make sure I didn't forget where I put them. Underneath there's a little plastic cover that's held on by 4 T20 Torx, the same thing that you use to get your hood off. Went ahead and took those off. What else did I take off? I think that's pretty much it. And noticing a lot of slop in mostly 2 places. So right up here, go ahead and grab on this and pull forward and backwards. So I saw a guy online, I'll put a link to his video, but big takeaway was he actually, instead of replacing this bearing, which I've already done previously, is he takes the 2 screws out and actually just files this side and this side down and makes it smaller, which in turn makes you squeeze it in place and actually just uses your bearing, and you don't actually have to replace anything. So that's kind of a cheat code. Another thing I'm noticing is that nut, I believe it's a 15 millimeter right there. If you look down inside, you'll notice that this steering rod right here, the big black round piece, and the tie rod down there, steering tie rod, are moving independently of one another. And it appears that nut may have loosened up. So we're gonna go ahead and tighten that up from underneath. If you look under here, once you take that cover off, you can see my finger down there, kind of, right there. Yep. You can get a bolt, get a socket on in there, and we're gonna try and get a wrench in from the side here, in this general vicinity, and maybe crank that tight. Hopefully there's nothing damaged down there, but we're gonna try that first, see if it makes it any better. That would be awesome if it does. All right, so I went ahead and removed this. Now I'm able to really grab onto this rod right here and give that a twist. And we can see where the slop is. So this bracket's held on by rivets. I think we're gonna go ahead and pull that off next. All right, so I found the solution, at least the majority of it. I went ahead and pulled this rubber boot off. I drilled out the rivets they're holding on. I just slid it down the control arms. And if you look up inside here, there's actually a window to a 15 millimeter nut. What you're gonna wanna do is go ahead and crank that as tight as you can, and you will eliminate the majority of the slop in your steering, at least left to right. I mean, you guys saw how bad it was before. There's a lot of it gone now. That's like a night and day difference. Now, I'm finding other little spots that have slop as well, so I'm gonna go ahead and address those. Underneath right there, you can, let's see, let's shine some light up in there. Right at that junction where the handlebars, where the steering post meets the plastic, right up in here, right up at the very, very top, you can see a little bit of slop. There's some kind of plastic bearing retainer or something in there. And we're gonna go ahead and find out what part that is and pick it up tomorrow.